All right, let's speed things up a little bit, make a table, maybe add a plate and perhaps a wine glass. So we could create our table from the default cube, but we're not going to do that. I'll click X, we'll get delete, Shift A, or we could have clicked up at the top, add mesh, but I'll use Shift A. It's a little bit faster if you get used to that. Mesh, we'll make it a plane, scale that up a little bit. I'm also going to split the screen here. So you notice I'm hovering up here. If you can see the mouse, I right click and I go vertical split. And now over here, I can set this to 0 so I can actually see the table. And you can see I probably want to drop this down just a little bit. I'll just use the G key and just pull that down and back a bit, and that's good. I can actually also go like this and go horizontal split. And if I wanted to, I could hold this one in top view. I kind of like to do that personally. So we've got camera view, top view. I can zoom in a bit on this. And over here, and actually I can get rid of the tools here. I'm not going to use those. So in this window, if we hit the T key, we can get rid of that, and that gives us a little more real estate. All I do is move the mouse there, hit the T key, and we lose our menu. So if the menu disappears, just hit T. We also have another menu on this side, which is the N key. Okay, I've got that wrong thing selected, so yeah, let's select our table. Right now it's a flat table. We want to do better than that. I'll hit 3 to go to side view. We'll go into edit mode. We can go like this or hit tab. We're going to extrude up like that. Don't want it to be too thick, maybe about like that. Now we can do a bevel edge on this, which is quite nice. And with just that top row selected, notice the bottom row is not selected. We go to the bevel tool and we just drag like that. Not too much of a bevel. We could leave it like that, or we can adjust the bevel by setting the number of segments. I'm going to go to 3, and that's good enough. If we zoom in, you can see that there are, I'm using shift and middle mouse, you can see that definitely there are 3 segments here. It's still not going to be perfectly smooth, but if we hit tab and go into edit mode, it actually looks pretty good. But we could go object, and we could go shade smooth. Okay, you can do that if you want to. All right, let's put some feet on this table. I'm going to go to 7 to top view. I want to move the, actually we'll leave the 3D cursor there for now. Make sure you deselect everything. And what I'm going to do actually is go here to wireframe view, just so I can see what's happening. Shift A, add a mesh, make it a circle. 32 is way too many for table legs. I'm going to go down to, oh, you can see 3 is the minimum. I'm going to go to, I don't know, 12. Sure, sounds good. And now I'll go to side view. Whoops, select it again. And I'm going to hit tab to go into edit mode. I'm going to scale it a bit. We can scale it in edit mode. And all I'm doing is dragging in. And then I'm going to extrude it. I'm just moving back a little bit, shift middle mouse to move in here. And I'm going to extrude. And that may be, let's see, we want to get it properly aligned. So yeah, I'll go like that. Then extrude. And then what we can do is just adjust this to get it nice and straight if we want to, or move it a little bit more. I think that's pretty good right there. We don't have to keep those markers on. You can turn them off if you want. All right, so we've got our first lag. Let's go and have a look at that in shaded, or in, yeah, there we go. Solid. We can see it as a solid. And now what we could do is, actually I'll turn it upside down. Maybe it's a table that's only got 1 leg, I'm not sure. But we can also, let's go to 7, top view. I know I could work in this window, but I just like to keep that view so I can see what's happening. And I'm going to go back to wireframe. It is selected. I'm going to grab it, G key to grab, place it in the corner, and then Shift D to duplicate the object. Shift D again, and then all you do is drag the mouse, Shift D, or just move the mouse. You don't have to drag it. And we've got a table with 4 legs. It's a pretty basic table. We could do better than this, but for now, let's just use that. A twice to deselect everything. Go to top, Shift A, add a mesh, make it a plane. This one's going to be a bit different now. What I'm going to do is hit the tab button, go to edit mode, and I'm going to select, holding down the shift key, 3 vertices, hit the X and delete vertices, so we only have 1 vertice. And you might be thinking, why would you only want 1 vertice? Then I'm going to use the G key to grab and drag it pretty much to the middle. Go to side view. And actually, you know what? This is a good time to show how to isolate, because things are getting busy. Backslash button on the number pad isolates that item. Now I can work without the distraction of having so many other things around me. Control right click. So what I do is move the mouse, then hit Control, hold down. I'm just holding the Control button down with my left hand. And I'm right mouse button clicking to draw. And what I'm going to do is draw the profile, or half the profile, of a wine glass. Now I can clean this up a little bit, although actually it's not too bad. I left click on any individual vertice, hit the G key to grab it and to make adjustments. G key again, so click on it, and then you can actually grab it and move it around. And all I'm trying to do is just clean this up a little bit, make it look a little more like a wine glass. It's actually not bad. I'll hit the A key. The cursor is in the middle already. I'm going to go to top view. Maybe what I need to do actually is grab this one and put it right in the middle. There we go. A key again, select them all, go to top view, and now we're going to use this spin tool. And this is pretty nifty. Z is selected, okay? And so I'll just go all the way around and hit the tab button, and we got a wine glass. That's pretty amazing. I'm going to undo that though, because, okay, let's go back to isolate this. Okay, back to 7. Now we can also, and I think what I actually want to do, there we go. We could also go in the X, Y, or Z motion. So you want to make sure that you pick the right direction. If you notice up in the top left here, we did this in the last video if you watched the other one first with the coffee cup, the handle. But okay, so then we drag this all the way around. Now we can make adjustments here. In fact, I'm going to cause it to leave a gap here. We don't actually want that, but I'm going to set the angle to 360. There we go, and that cleans it up. And we can change the number of steps. I don't know, 14, 15, 16, whatever. I'll leave it at 18. That's fine. You go higher if you want, but you'll see it's not going to make that much of a difference. All right, we are done. That was pretty easy to do. There's some other things we could do to this, but and it looks way too big. And by the way, again, to get it back, hit the backslash button, and that will take it back. I'm going to grab it. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to scale it way down. Okay, it's way too big for the table. That's looking a little bit better. And there we go. We'll place it on the table. Now I could move it over here and place it somewhere where it's where it looks a bit better. If I go into this mode, solid mode, and zoom in on it, you can see it really does not look very good. So what we're going to do is move over here and go into the wrench. And the wrench gives us modifiers, and these are really powerful. And we're going to use subdivision surface. And look, it already cleaned it up, but I'm going to bump up levels viewport to maybe 3. Oh, look at that. That looks so much better. And we can still go object, shade smooth, and now that thing is actually looking pretty darn good. It'd be good if we could add a glass texture to it, but I'm going to leave that for another video. And wow, we're getting there. We could duplicate this, obviously, but I'd probably want to add the texture first. Shift D is all you have to do, and we could put 4 of these on the table. I'll just do that quickly. But again, you'd probably want to, an A key twice, you'd probably want to add a texture to that first. Okay, let's create a plate. So I'm going to go back to top to 7. I'm going to go Shift A. I'm going to add a mesh and make it a plane. I'm going to isolate that plane. I'm going to go to wireframe mode. I just like that better for drawing. I'm going to go tab to go into edit mode. Oh, and you can see we're in spin mode. I'm just going to go back up here to select. And I'm going to click on 3 of the vertices and delete them again. So we only have a single vertice. There might be a better way to start drawing. I don't know of one though. I'm still doing it the old-fashioned way. It's the only way I know. I'll go to side view, control, right click, and I'm going to try to draw the profile of a plate. And it's not going to look perfect, but that's okay. Remember, we can clean this up a bit too, right? I'm going to zoom in a bit on this, and I'm going to shift middle mouse. I'm going to start grabbing vertices and just straightening a few things out. Yeah, this looks terrible. But it's amazing what you can do once you, once you G key to grab vertices. Once you get your vertices set where you want them, we could do a similar thing and create like a plate for a teacup. And all we'd have to do is maybe add in a couple more vertices and just do a little indentation. But I'm not going to do that now. You can figure that part out. Hit the A key, go to all. Okay, we've got our profile. We're going to spin it around that center point. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. We go back to our spin tool. And you can see it's in our Z motion, which is what we want. drag it around. It should have the settings from last time. I'm just going to punch in 360 so we get it right on. And well, I don't know, let's go with 25. Doesn't really matter, but you can see it increases the polygons inside of this. Hit the tab button. I'm going to unisolate it. Okay, so it's back here. Go to side view. Okay, it's down the bottom. G key to grab. We want to place it on top of the table. And you can see it's too big. So S for scale. That might be better. And we can see how it looks over here, but we might want to go to solid view here just to see. Okay, oh, and I can see something we're going to have to do to this. You may have noticed already. Yeah, we're going to need to go back to modifiers, add a modifier, subdivision surface, and maybe bump it up by one more. Oh, that's great. And then we'll go object, shade smooth. And that actually looks pretty good. Again, we're going to want to add textures, materials. I'm going to grab this, and maybe we Shift D, we'd make duplicates of it as well too. So we can start getting our table looking pretty good. By the way, this is a bit of a cop-out in terms of making table legs. We could do a much better job if we drew a profile and then use the spin function to create a table leg that actually looks a lot nicer than this. I'll leave that up to you though. I think we've covered enough for this. And that's it for this recording. Over and out.